I bet when you were in love, you didn't feel like eating, you couldn't stop thinking about the person, and you just felt like, yo, you gotta be around that person all the time. The person constantly running through your mind, nonstop, 24/7. Right? Okay. So we're not going to talk about love in this video. We got to do it in a separate video. What I'm going to talk about, though, we're going to talk about drugs, the effect of drugs in the brain. Okay, guys? So fasten your seatbelt and be ready, okay? We always talk about the nerve cells, guys, how they operate, how they communicate with each other. It's very, very important. And they send messages back and forth. And the way they send messages, right? In a form of neurotransmitters. Think about it. Transmitter, your cell phone. The reason you can call someone and communicate with someone, it's because there's a transmitter involved. Any form of communication, from a distance, like wireless or something, it's because of a transmitter. It's what a neurotransmitter is. We function because of neurotransmitters. Without them, oh man, we wouldn't be able to function at all. You'll see that body part just loose. You wouldn't be able to do anything about it. It would be paralyzed, basically. So neurotransmitter play a huge role in our functioning, guys. So they're very important to understand. Extremely important. Okay? So you have the axon and presynaptic neuron. They're fancy words, but don't worry about them. Presynaptic neuron, basically, okay, the neuron that's sending the message, and it goes to something called receptors, receivers. Okay? Because if you send a message, if you communicating with someone registering the message, someone receiving the message, it's the same way impulses work, guys. You have receivers and you also have something that's sending for you to receive it, or receptors. Same thing. All right. So what happened when the receivers receive the message, it basically pass on the message to another neuron. Same way, through in a form of neurotransmitters, chemicals. And those chemicals, they play a huge important role because some of them we crave for, like dopamine. We go crazy. It's the reason we love sugar. Anything that makes us feel good, we go crazy for it. It's because of the neurotransmitters, right? Think about it for a second. The reason, we love pleasure and we stay away from pain. It's how we design, right? So, for example, let's say back in the evolutionary days or something, then your ancestors, they were going around looking for food. And the minute they notice a nice piece of fruit, ripe, damn, that fruit looked very healthy and good. Grab the fruit and we'll take a bite, and that flood of dopamine will rush into their system. It's the reward, and it feels so good. Of course, they will go back home. But the next day, they're going to go right back to go get the same fruit again because yesterday it tastes good, so I want more of it. It's what dopamine designed to do, to motivate us to go do things that actually going to benefit us. But let's say your ancestors did go somewhere where they experienced like a huge lion, certain lions around the area chasing them, trying to take them as prey or something. Yo, they're not going to go there because it's pain. No way. It's dangerous. And that's what the system designed us to do. Dopamine motivates us to go do things that would benefit us. And pain keep us away to things that will danger our lives or put our lives in danger. So it's something to keep in mind. When you see people feel like, oh, I can't learn this, I can't do this, it's because they're not motivated to do it. There's no chemical into their system for them to say, yo, I want to do it, man. Can you imagine when someone excited to do something that they're really passionate about? It's because they experience that dopamine inside of their system. They become obsessed with that thing. They practice every day. They can't stop thinking about the game. They can't stop thinking about how they're going to dominate the game. It's because they want that rush. So do you see how powerful dopamine actually is? Dopamine designed to motivate us to do things. So it's the reason when someone decides to go take some sort of drugs, it's going to motivate them to go get the drug over and over again to the point they cannot let it go. They become addicted to it. So what happened when the neurotransmitter like dopamine, it shoots through the neuron or the synapse, it goes in. Once it goes in, it's basically an action. It's an impulse. Then that's when you're like, oh, damn, this feels good. Oh, man, I love this. It's because of the dopaminergic, okay? So certain drugs mimic the neurotransmitters, and certain drugs block the natural transmitter and put their own transmitter, basically. But the thing about it is, though, the thing you must understand, nature, the way nature designed us is to experience something very, very quick, never for experience for a very long time, because you will lose focus. You won't be able to concentrate. So it's the reason when you feel happy, oh man, you're excited. And after that, it's slowly going down. It just go down very, very slow. It's a fleeting experience, you could say. It's the same way with pain. Fleeting experience, excitement, fleeting experience. It's not supposed to be there for hours. Same intense feeling for hours. No, your system not designed for that. So different drugs, different effect. They play different roles. They mimic the natural neurotransmitter. Some of them block the reuptake because, once a neurotransmitter fire, it goes to the other neuron. It actually goes back to the resting state where it belongs and waiting to be fired again. But certain drugs will block the neurotransmitter from going back to the natural position it's supposed to be, and stays in the system for a very long time. And that's when people usually experience that high. It's the same way with painkillers, or you could say methamphetamine, for example. It triggers the nucleus accumbens or ventral tegmental area to trigger that dopamine system, that reward system. Cocaine, it make people become super alert, pupil opens wide up, the senses just working properly or something. Some people able to concentrate very, very well. It's because of the chemical, right? But long-term effect is the problem because the system gonna rely on it. If the system puts you, okay, you know what? You're going to experience 2 if you do this. But you decide to push the system to 5 artificially. The system going to expect to operate on that 5th level for a very long time. That's how it is. But if you put the system on number 5, and later on, you're going to drop down to number 2. The system not going to tolerate it. The system's going to tell you like, yo, I need to stay on that number 5. So that's when people usually become super addicted to any stimulant, any crazy drugs, because they need to stay on that level. Without being on that level, the system not going to be able to function at all. 0. And it's the reason, again, when people trying to get out of it, when people trying to stay away from drugs, they experience the withdrawal. They, start shaking, they're sweating, the system in a shock mode because it used to operating on a certain level. We get used to things very fast, man. We get used to things extremely, extremely fast. So it's the reason you must understand how your system works for you to function better, for you to, push yourself to your best potential, or for you to stay away from certain things. Because at the end of the day, the drugs, when you put the drug in your system, man, the same chemical, the same feel-good chemical already in your system. You just got to eat the right things for it to trigger it. Of course, you're not going to get that intense, crazy feeling. But you will get that feel-good feeling. You will experience a good feeling. It will be enough. And it will help you solve all your problems. It will help you deal with stress. It will help you deal with depression. But do not go towards drugs to solve your problems, because trust me, your problem's only going to get worse. And the minute you become addicted to that stimulant, I'm telling you, letting go gonna be the most difficult thing ever. Trust me, because the brain gonna come up with all kinds of excuses. You're gonna experience panic mode. You're gonna sweat. You're gonna feel like you can't live without it. You're not gonna be able to function properly without it. So why go that route when you can just go to the gym, exercise, eat the right food to experience the same exact feeling? Oh, you don't have time? Make time. If you want to feel good, hit the gym, eat the right food, and I guarantee you, you will experience the same exact feeling, because the feeling is already in your system, want to be triggered, but you just got to do the right thing in order for them to be released. That's all. Real talk, man. Yo, I'm telling you, you got to know yourself. It's very important. Okay? So, guys, what do we do here? We learn, we push, and we grow to become the best version of ourselves. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button for more great content. If you have anything to say, let it out in the comment section. See you next time. Ciao.